What if I told you that you're not living in a solid world? You are living in a fractal holographic matrix made of light that's imbued with divine codes, and that can only interact directly with consciousness, that everything else is a complete illusion. Scientists did some research, and as they zoomed in to the nature of reality, they saw the largest part in the smallest piece. They discovered that fractals are real, that the same exact pattern forms itself and reforms itself at smaller and smaller intervals, and that the universe as a whole is one gigantic fractal, never ending. The ancients knew this a very long time ago. They have a Hermetic principle that says, as above, so below, as within, so without. They understood the science and the wisdom of the universe itself in ancient times. They realized that at the smallest scales, you can find the largest piece. At the micro, you can find the macro. Well, how does this knowledge affect us today? The ancient wisdom keepers delved deep into this ancient wisdom and realized that if you go to inner space, you can affect the outer space. They realized that the first journey we should be taking is a journey within ourselves. And when you enter within yourself and get to know who you are from a divine perspective, and then begin to work on yourself on the inside, the manifestations on the outside will match what's going on inside of you. They understood that we have a direct effect on our own reality tunnel based on our own inner space. What does this mean? Well, if you look around your surroundings, where you work, where you live, if you see a lot of chaos, if there are a lot of things out of order, if papers aren't stacked or filed properly, if there are old dishes and boxes of pizza laying around in dirty pots and pans, if your stovetop is dirty, if your office desk is misaligned, that is a direct evidence of what's going on inside of you. The chaos and the entropy happening within you has now manifested on the outside. That's a very simple way of looking at the metaphor. This is one of the biggest reasons why people are not able to manifest the life and the dreams and the goals that they truly desire. It's not because they don't want to do it. It's because they haven't done the inner work yet. If you're a person that gets agitated or triggered by something that someone else does, if you notice, even though that person is gone, they're not even within your range of sight or touch, right? But you're still triggered. That anger, that frustration, that energy, that frequency that you're vibrating at, it now has touched everything within your range spiritually. And if you notice, when you're in those triggered states or those angered states and frustrated states, that everything around you begins to vibrate on the same frequency. The people around you become agitated and frustrated. Whatever you're interacting with or whatever you're working on, it has that negative energy behind it. This is one of the reasons why if you're angry, frustrated, pissed off, or depressed, you shouldn't cook food, because that same energy is going into the food. Instead of the food being cooked by love, which is a high vibrational frequency, the food is being cooked with you by a low vibrational frequency, which means that the love is not there, and it's actually apparent in the food. Scientists did an experiment where they took 10 people that were on a high vibration, love, peace, tranquility, happiness, and they took 10 other people that weren't triggered to be angry, but just didn't really care about cooking. Cooking was not their forte, but they knew how to cook. Well, after they cooked the food, both, the 10 that loved cooking and had a high vibration, and the 10 that didn't care for cooking actually hated it, but knew how to cook. And so they cooked it with their mindset that they had. When that food was given out to people to taste, randomly, nobody knew who cooked it. The people that loved the food the most picked the food that was cooked with love. The food that was not cooked with love and intention behind it, people didn't like it that much. It didn't taste that good. The flavors weren't that great. It wasn't as robust and flavorful. They could detect through taste, through sensory perception, that one dish was cooked with love and the other one was cooked without love. This is directly how we affect everything going on around us based on the vibration that we're operating at. So if you want to create manifestations, if you want to attract positivity into your life, if you want to bring toward you the things that you're looking to live, like health, wealth, family, love, great friends, all those great things that we all want to live by, you have to understand some of what's going on inside of you could be blocking that. That's why I started the Forbidden Knowledge Academy, to teach you about these things in intricate detail. Not only just you, but also to bring a group of leaders together so that we can all push ourselves to become a better version of ourselves. So the link to that is in the caption of this video and also in my bio. So you may want to join the Forbidden Knowledge Academy. It's also probably in the live chat. But we understand that the holographic universe is a program code, and programs can be reprogrammed. We know this because we as human beings write software. Now, software can be reprogrammed. It can even be hacked. You've heard the term biohacking. Our bodies, our avatar bodies, can actually be hacked, right, to better itself. And we know that mainstream knows how to hack our bodies with the foods and medicines and pharmaceuticals, so they can hack us to not better ourselves, so they can keep us hooked on their foods and their drugs. So we know that the biology can be hacked, but guess what? Our subconscious programming can also be hacked in a positive way or a negative way. All the programming code that you've been getting in this holographic matrix since you were born, most of it has been negative. So it's no wonder why most of us have a negative view on reality. It's no wonder why most of us, we don't really understand that we've been programmed to believe negativity and scarcity and lack of abundance our whole lives. A lot of the things that we've been told have created this software program running within us, within our conscious mind, and that then allows us to link into this dark or negative or low frequency field that exists throughout the known universe. If we understand that the things that we think about the most and the things that we speak on the most actually become our perception of reality, well then why don't we just change what we're thinking and what we're speaking? It's like a light switch on your wall. If you walk over to the light switch and flip it, the light turns on. If you flip it back down, usually the light turns off. We can turn that switch on or off in the subconscious whenever we want. And if that's the case, why not let's start doing it now? Because the more we realize we're not living the life that is our birthright, the more angry, frustrated, and depressed we get, the more we lash out at people. It's a lot of the times the triggers are not coming because they did something so harsh to us. It's just because we're not really living the life that we desire, and we're looking for someone to take it out on. And if that's the case, it's time to learn how to reprogram the subconscious. Again, that's why I started the Forbidden Knowledge Academy. So make sure you click the link in the caption of this video or audio, or the link in my bio, or the link in the live chat. Register for the Academy. We have almost 1,200 people in there. Incredible leaders, my coaching team and myself, there to help and guide you and teach you these ancient wisdom techniques to help you become the best version of yourself. In the fractal holographic matrix of light that we're inhabiting, scientists have discovered some incredible mathematical realities. Professor James Gates Jr., the former scientific advisor to President Obama and his administration, as well as the current professor at the University of Maryland, put together a team of mathematicians, but not just any mathematicians. These people were super mathematicians. They're philomath. They're incredible geniuses in the mathematic field. They put out a mission to unravel the nature of this reality. And what they discovered is mind-blowing. They discovered something called Adinkra codes. Now, you may have heard of the Adinkra symbols of the Mali tribe in Africa. The tribe in Africa called the Dogon, right? They live in Mali now. But in ancient times, they actually lived in ancient Kemet before it was called Egypt. They have a verbal handed down history that goes back tens of thousands of years. And they have one wisdom keeper that passes that on to the next person that's going to be the wisdom keeper for the future, generation after generation. And that person can't even be touched by another person on the outside. Otherwise, they must be unalived. That's how important the wisdom is. They don't want to taint the purification of this person and their wisdom and their knowledge. But they teach this information to their tribe. So they have this tribal star lore where these beings named the Nomo came from Sirius B and taught them all this incredible knowledge and wisdom and information. Now, along with that, they were given these symbols. And these symbols, which they have hundreds of them, they would stitch them into clothing, stitch them into blankets and shirts and satchels. They would carve them in cave walls. Well, if you take these symbols, which have spiritual and divine meanings, and you turn them into three-dimensional objects, there are mathematical codes embedded and hidden inside of them. Professor James Gates Jr. discovered this or rediscovered this and calls them the Adinkra codes. And these Adinkra codes are referenced in modern science and computer science as error correcting codes. Now, not just any error correcting codes. These are the same error correcting codes which run the ether of space-time that also control search engines and web browsers. So yes, we're living in a programmed matrix running on software. And this scientific discovery proves it. The same code that allows you to search on Google is the same exact code allowing us to live within this fully immersed fractal holographic matrix. But it doesn't just end there. There's more. Benoit Mandelbrot, another mathematician, discovered the fractal code, or should I say rediscovered the fractal code that exists throughout all nature. It's called the Mandelbrot set. The Mandelbrot set is just a powerful, very small equation that breaks down reality into fractals and lets us see how the divine creator created everything based on this mathematical formula. When you look into the Mandelbrot set and you discover the amazing amounts of uses, you realize it's the primary formula that's being used by animation companies to create 3D animation in the movies. The first company to use it was Pixar. Pixar Studios became one of the greatest movie production houses for 3D animation when they took the Mandelbrot fractal mathematical code and embedded it into their animation software. When they did that, no more need to create every single image. The fractal mathematical code created everything, including the animated characters on the fly. Why does it work in there? Because it works out here already. We could only recreate or reproduce or manifest something that already exists within us. As within, so without. And since we're living in the same exact design system, we discovered a way to extract that knowledge from ourselves and put it into something we call software and animation. When you're looking at Pixar Studios, when you're looking at video games, when you're looking at now even a lot of films, every scene only appears on the screen as it's needed. Why? Because of the fractal mathematical code rediscovered by Benoit Mandelbrot. So we have error correcting codes inside the Adinkra codes. We have the Mandelbrot set equation creating the fractals. And then we know that we have so many other aspects of mathematical reality like the golden ratio, the golden rectangle, pi, phi. All these things come and work together to create this realm, this reality. We're living in a pixelated realm as well because as they zoomed into the nature of reality, they discovered that the only thing you lose is resolution. So what are we talking about? Now we're talking about pixelation. So even the pixelation that you see on video games or when your screen gets blurry because you have a poor internet connection, that pixelation, well, it's only there because it exists in this realm as well, the third dimension. It's only a copy or a fractal of what already exists. They began to realize that light doesn't go in a straight line. Light moves from pixel to pixel. It emanates from pixel to pixel until it gets to you. So by the time that photon reaches you, it's not the original photon that took off if you're looking at a star in the sky, in the night sky. It's actually another recreated version of the original photon from the original pixel as it propagated pixel by pixel until it got to your retina. Why is this important for manifesting? I'm trying to paint the picture so you can finally understand that we are living inside of a divine coded matrix, just like the video games and the movies that we create today. And since those creations that we have manifested can be edited and can be reprogrammed, well, so can we. We just don't realize that we have the power because most of us don't realize that we're already programmed. From the time that you are in the gestation period inside the womb, the programming code begins. The feelings and the emotions through hormone releasing in the mother and any sounds and vibrations outside of the womb which are able to vibrate into you while you're in the gestation period are all programming you. Even the star alignments in the sky, in space, are all having a direct effect on you because of gravitational fields. So before you even come out of the womb, you are already being programmed. And once you're birthed from the womb, everything that happens from the age of 1 to the age of 7 is all programming code. And scientists now realize that anything from ages 1 to 7 creates the reality or the personality traits of who you pretty much are going to be for the rest of your life. Anything after the age of 7 is going to require a lot of work and reprogramming. So geneticists have realized this, scientists have realized this. And so now since we know this, we understand that we can reprogram ourselves. The secret is understanding that you have been taught a falsehood about reality, about life, and definitely about money. This is one of the main reasons why we struggle to manifest the reality that we want, is because we've got all this old programming code working inside of us to deter us from understanding our true power and how we can reprogram and rewrite the code that we're running on. And then we have 15 to 20 generations of epigenetic programming code operating within our bodies. This is more programming in this massive software that we call the universe that's coming from your ancestors, passed down through the father's RNA, all of his traumas, all of the situations he's been through, passed down through the father's side, through the RNA, coming down generation by generation. Your ancestors' epigenetics embedded in your body at this moment, creating emotions, feelings, and vibrations that you don't understand and can't really perceive as being ancient, but they are, coming from past generations. So you're working against the mainstream ideology. You're working against everything your parents have told you, your name, your race, and your religion, and fight for that until you die. And then you're working against vibrations and frequencies, and you're working against the medicines and the farming and everything else that's coming against you. It's no wonder why we have trouble manifesting the dreams. No wonder why we have trouble manifesting everything we'd like to have in life. There's a lot working against you. You're not even realizing it. That's, again, why I started the Forbidden Knowledge Academy. In there, we're going to teach you how to reprogram, how to access these ancient memories, how to destroy and break down these walls, like they broke down the walls of Jericho. These walls of falsehoods that have pretty much put you in a situation where you believe everything around you is real. You believe that money is real. Money is nothing more than a holographic projection. Money is nothing more than an energy exchange within this matrix. If you want to make more money, you just simply need to understand how to exchange higher frequency energy. And what does that mean? Well, the secret to making money is to find a need and fill it. Now, if you can find your passion, which we'll teach you inside the Forbidden Knowledge Academy, find your passion and then find a need for that passion in the world. And then when those people who need your passion, when you exchange that energy with them for that passion, money will show up in your bank account. Money is only a side effect of an energy exchange. It doesn't even exist. Like I always say, if you're inside of an ice cave in Alaska and you need to be rescued, but you have a bag of $1 million on the ground and a match. And you know that if you don't light that money on fire, you won't have enough heat to survive the night to hope you can get rescued the next day. At that moment, the only value that money has is one more night of surviving inside of an ice cave. Money only has the consciously attributed value that we give it. Other than that, it's just a piece of paper. That particular night, it's worth your life. The next day, when they find you, it'll be back to whatever $1 million can buy at that moment. And with the progression of inflation, $1 million's value is dwindling moment by moment. So you see, it's only the attributed conscious value. So don't chase money, follow your passions. Find a need for that passion in the world. And when you do that, money will be the side effect that will show up in your account. It's nothing but an instrument for energy exchange. This is why in financial markets, they don't call it money, they call it an instrument, because they understand this. And what do instruments do? Instruments create vibrations and frequencies. When you play an instrument, you're creating a vibration, a frequency that people can hear in their ears, right? Money is the same thing. It's a vibration and frequency in the spiritual realm that exchanges energy on the subatomic level, on the conscious level. All these are a lot of the attributes and wisdom teachings that we give you inside the Forbidden Knowledge Academy. The link is in the caption of this video or audio. It's in my bio or in the live chat. Make sure you click the link and make sure you sign up. I'd like to take you to the next level of this wisdom teaching and show you how we can begin the reprogramming process step by step. I want to hold your hand and take you through it step by step by step. And I want to give you very detailed exercises that you can do. And I'm going to hold you accountable to those exercises inside the academy. I'm going to hold you accountable to complete those exercises and begin the process of changing the way that you perceive the world. And if you do this, your life will change forever. Make sure you click the link in the caption or in my bio, and I'll see you inside the Forbidden Knowledge Academy.